Welcome to another session of Everyday Mathematics. Here at Everyday Mathematics, we do enjoy solving the harder problems, but above all, we also do see and appreciate the beauty in the simpler problems. So today, our problem comes from the MIT 2022 Integration B Finals, and our problem of focus today is problem number 5 in that final series. So our problem is the flow function of log 10 of the integral from 2022 to infinity of 10 to the power negative x cube. So this is a very interesting problem. It's also quite a harder problem. So before I jump into the solution, I'd like to shout out to our subscribers. Thank you so much for your support. We don't take your support for granted. And it's just support that motivates us to come back here every day and share with you some of the solutions that we propose. Now, for our first-time visitors here at Everyday Mathematics, what we do is we do go out and look at harder problems, and we try to come back and share with you the solutions that we think would be befitting to these problems. Then, for our repeating visitors who haven't gotten the opportunity to subscribe to our channel, I'd like to just encourage you to subscribe to our channel. So going on to the solution, as I said, this is a very hard problem. And one thing that I personally, when looking at this problem, is to try and remove this lower bound because it begins from 2022. So the idea is just to find a way of trying to extricate this so that we have a 0 to infinity kind of integration. So the first step is we have pulled out a 10 to the power negative 2022 to the power 3. And in order to negate this introduction, we have put a 10 to the power 2022 to the power 3 inside the integral side. So we now have the integration from 2022 to infinity of 10 to the power 2022 to the power 3 minus x cubed. Now, very interesting. Let's look at the function x is equals y is equals to x to the power cube. It looks like this. So in the negative, we have the concavity facing downwards, and as you move to the positive quadrant, you see that the concavity is upward facing. So one thing that would do is to look at the tangent of this curve. As it can be seen is that the tangent of at any point on the positive axis of on the positive quadrant of x to the power 3 is always going to be less than the function itself, x to the power 3. So it suffices to say that x to the power 3 is greater than the tangent at any point on the positive x greater than 0. So what is the gradient of the tangent at any of this point? First of all, if we limit ourselves to when x is equal to 2022, the gradient is the derivative of x to the power 3, and then substituting in x equals to 2022. So essentially, the gradient of the tangent at x equals to 2022 is 3 times 2022 squared. So let's now try to find the equation of the tangent at that point. So the equation of the tangent to x to the power 3 at x equals to 2002 can be generalized as y is equals to mx plus c. This is the general equation of a line, and we already know that m is equals to 3 times 2022 to the power 2. And so now our equation is as follows. Now to find c, we would have to substitute for the value of x and y. We know that y is 2022 to the power 3 and x is 2022. So eventually, now c is equals to this 2022 to the power 3 minus 3 times 2022 squared times 2022. So it's same as 2022 cube minus 3 times 2022 cube. And so C is negative 2 times 2022 cube. So the equation of the tangent is y equals to 3 times 2022 squared x minus 2 times 2022 cube. So this could also be expressed in such a way as 3 times 2022 squared times x minus 2022 plus the remaining 2022 cube. And so now, since we know that x cube is greater than tangent, we could say that x cube is greater than 3 times 2022 squared in bracket x minus 2022 plus 2022 cube, since this is the equation of the tangent. And so we can rearrange things by pulling this first component of the right hand side onto the side. And so we have negative 3 times 2022 squared times x minus 2022 plus x to the power 3 being greater than 2022 cube. So we could take x cubed to the other side. And so essentially, negative 3 times 2022 squared times x minus 2022 is greater than 2022 cube minus x. And this is a very interesting thing that we need to pay attention to. Since our integral here, as we see here on the right-hand side, we had reduced our integral to this previously. So it means that substituting for 2022 cube minus x cube will make it for this left-hand side of this inequality means that now 10 to the power negative 2022 cube times the integral from 2022 to infinity of 10 to the power negative 3 times 2022 squared times x minus 2022 is greater than the integral of is greater than 10 to the power negative 2022 cube times the integral of 2000 from x equals 2022 to infinity of 10 to the power 2022 cube minus x cube. So this here was quite intimidating, but now we have a linear equation here in the power position that we can solve. So the first thing we'd want to do is we would want to now go ahead to substitute for x minus 2022, which eventually now takes this lower limit to 0. So let u be equal to x minus 2022. That means that dx is equal to du, or du is equal to dx. And when x equals to 2022, that means that u is equal to 0. And when x is equals, it tends to infinity, it means that u also tends to infinity. And that means that the left-hand side of this inequality now becomes 10 to the power negative 2022 cubed times the integral from x equals to 0 to infinity of 10 to, actually this is u now, 10 to the power negative 3 times 2022 squared u du, which is greater than the integral of interest. And so one other way is to now express this in terms of the exponential or the e formality, because that now allows us to easily integrate this left-hand part of the inequality. Any number is the same as e to the power, the natural logarithm of that number. So how we've done that now is to replace that, this 10 to the power negative 3 times 2022 squared u is the same as e to the power logarithm of that same number as we said previously. So as you can see, this power here using the rules of logarithm can be now taken to the constant position of the logarithm here. And so now this becomes, focusing on the integral, e to the power, the integral from u equals to 0 to infinity of e to the power 3 times 2000, negative 3 times 2022 squared log 10 of u. And so this is a constant here. And so now what happens is we have 10 to the power negative 2022 cubed, and this constant, usual way, negative 1 over 3 times 202 squared log 10, and then we have the same uh, e to the power negative 3 times 2022 squared log 10u. Now, as you can see, as u tends to infinity, this entire part goes to 0. But as u tends to 0, this tends to 1. So we have 0 minus 1 over 3 times 2002 squared log 10. And that means now on our left-hand side of the inequality, we have 10 to the power negative 2022 cubed over 3 times 2022 squared log 10. Okay. Since our question demanded that we do find the log 10 of the integral and put that in the flow function, we have now to look at the log 10 of the expression we have on the left-hand side. So log 10 of 10 to the power negative 2022 cube over 3 times log times 2022 squared log 10 being greater than log 10 of the initial integral means that we have now, using the rules of logarithm, log 10 of the numerator minus log 10 of the denominator. And now we can go further to simplify these. Log 10 of 10 to the power negative 2002 cube minus log 10 of 3 times 2022 times 2022 squared. And then this is natural logarithm, so we have log 10 of log to the base 10 of 10 over log 10 to the power log 10 of e. So log 10 of 10 is base 10 of 10 is this is 1, and so this means that we just have we'll have a log 10 of this part minus log 10 of this denominator here. So going forward, log 10, here we just have to take this power to the constant position, and log 10 of 10 is 1. So we have negative 2022 cubed minus log 10 of 3 times 2022 squared. Since this becomes 1, we have 1 over log 10 the power, log 10 of e. And so this is negative 2022 cube minus log 10 of 12,265,452 and times 1 over log 10 log 10e. So this becomes 2022 negative 2022 cube minus log 10 of 12,265,452 plus the log 10 of log 10e. So log 10 of e, this is about 0.4 something. And then log 10 of that decimal is a small negative, but definitely less than 1. And this here is therefore 1.2265452 times 10 to the power 7. And so, yeah, so we have 10 to the power 7. And what happens is that this could be expressed as a sum of the log 10s. And that means that we do now have negative 2022 cubed minus log 10 of log 10 to the power 7 minus log 10 of this 1.2265452 plus log 10 log 10 to e. So this is definitely this is less than 1. This is negative of a value much less than 1. And so we can now say that this is negative 2022 to the power 3 minus log 10 of log 10 to the power 7 minus a value less than 1. And so this is minus 2022 cubed minus 7 minus a very teeny value, less than 1, which is greater than the log 10 of um, the integral. So we have an upper bound, but we now need to solve for the lower bound and know exactly where this value, the log 10 of this integral, lies. Since a flow function is pretty much a discretization function that takes the lower value of a specific real number, or the lower integer, or the integer lower than the real number. So let's keep going on. And since this is our integral, and which could also be expressed as 10 to the power negative 2022 cubed times the integral from 2022 to infinity of 10 to the power 2002 cubed minus x cubed. So now we need to investigate the concavity or the nature of this integrand, right, fx. So the upward or downward concavity of fx can be deduced by looking at the second integral of the integrand, right? So if fx is equals to 10 to the power 2002 cubed minus x cubed, log fx is equals to log 10 to the power 2002 cubed minus x cubed. That means that log fx is equal to 2022 cubed minus x cubed log 10, right? And so using the derivative, the rules of differentiating natural logarithm, the first derivative of fx over fx is the derivative of log fx, which is equals to negative 3x squared times log 10. And so first derivative of fx is negative 3x squared log 10 times fx. And the second derivative is therefore the differentiation or derivative of this first, and then the derivative of the second function. So this is negative 6x log 10 fx minus 3x squared log 10, the derivative of fx. So we know already the derivative of fx, and so that means that the second derivative of fx is minus 6x log 10 fx minus 3x squared log 10. Now in bracket here, we bring this negative 3x squared log 10 fx in there. So the second derivative is negative x log 10 fx plus 9 x to the power 4 log 10 squared fx. And we know fx to be 10 to the power 2022 cubed minus x cubed. So the second derivative is minus 6x log 10 fx plus 9x to the power 4 log 10 of fx. We could rearrange this by pulling 3x out, log 10, and so this becomes 9x squared minus 2 fx, and then we multiply the value of fx, which is 10 to the power 2022 cubed minus x cubed. So this is our second derivative, and as we can see, for values x greater than 2022, this is always going to be a positive value, and that means that the concavity of our function 10 to the power 2022 to the power 3 minus x to the power 3 is an upward facing concave function. Okay, so therefore that means that the tangent of 10 to the power 2022 cubed minus x cubed is less than the integrand at any point. So since the gradient m of the tangent to fx equals 10 to the power 2022 cubed minus x cubed at x equals 2022 is now m, which is equals to negative 3 times 2002 squared log 10 f of 2022. And f of 2022 is as simple as plugging 2022 in place of x, and so this becomes 0, and so this is just 1. So that means that our gradient m minus 3 log 10 to the power 2002 squared log 10 times this 1 is our gradient. And so we can now use the equation, the general equation of a line y is equals to mx plus c to now plug in that gradient. And now we need just to find the value of c. We know that when x equals to 2022, y is 10 to the power 2022 cube minus x, which is equal to 2022 as well. So y is equals to 10 to the power 1, 10 to the power 0, which is 1. And so the value of c is as simple as 1 plus 3 times 2022 squared log 10 times 2022. So that is c, right? So then the equation of the tangent y is equals to negative 3 2022 squared log 10 x plus 1 plus 3 times 10 to the power times plus 3 times 2022 squared log 10 times again 2022. Okay, so what we can now do is we can now collect like terms. So eventually we have the equation simplified as y is equals to negative 3 2022 squared log 10 times x minus 2022 plus 1. So our equation now is found for the tangent. And if we just do an illustration, if fx is equals to 10 to the power 2022 cube minus s cube is such a curve because as you can see, it's negative, and as x increases, therefore decreases. So we have a curve like this, and at x equals 2022, definitely fx is 1. So the tangent at that point is something like that. And so the area so the area under this tangent is definitely less than the area under the curve. Since this x also meets the x-axis at this x-intercept, and at that point y is 0, so we can easily find that intercept cx. So cx is equals to 2022 plus 1 over 3 times 2022 squared log 10. So this is our graph, and so as we said, the area under that curve is definitely less than the area under the tangent, right? So we can now integrate our initial integral of 2000 from x equals 2022 to infinity of 10 to the power negative x cubed is equals to 10 to the power negative 2002 cubed times the integral from x equals 2002 to infinity of 10 to the power 2002 cubed minus x cubed. And since that is greater than 10 to the power negative 2002 cubed times the integral from x equals 2022 to the x-intercept here, we can move forward and now say that this is the same as, we can open up the brackets, the integral from this constant times the integral from x equals 2002 to cx of negative 3 times 10 to the 2022 squared log 10 x plus, we've opened this bracket out, 3 times 2002 cubed log 10 plus 1. So this is a constant. And so focusing on the integral, we have now negative 3 over 2, this constant, obviously, log 10, x squared, and then this constant times x. Now we already know what Cx is. We can put our Cx there. It's just this fraction over 2022, right? And so substituting in the upper and the lower limit means that we do have the upper limit substituted in place of x minus the lower limit substituted in place of x, right? So as we can see, we have the difference of squares here. And down here, we just have this value since it's linear. So this 2022 can cancel out with the 2022 here. Okay. So we can see that the difference of squares here is the same as the product of the sum, the product of the sum and the difference of the two components. So this 2022 here in this difference component cancels out with this 2022, and then this 2022 here will cancel with this 2022. So the integral now becomes this constant that we had times negative 3 over 2, 2022 squared log 10, the sum component, and the remainder from the difference, right? Plus 3 times 2022 cube log 10 plus 1 all times 1 over 3 times 2022 squared log 10. Okay, so the next thing we can do is we can now open up this bracket. As you can see now we have this constant here times 2 times 2022. And that cancels out the 2 here, or this 2 here cancels the 2 here, and we have 3 times 2022 squared log 10 in the numerator times the denominator here. So these obviously cancel out to 1 minus, we have this times this times this. So this is pretty much the denominator squared here, as you can see, times negative 3 over 2, as you can see. So we have essentially 3 times 202 squared log 10 over 2 times the square of this denominator. Plus, we have this 3 times 202 cubed log 10 over this denominator. Well, pardon me, this is to the power 3, so it doesn't go to 1. But as we can see that this value here is the same as this value, so those can cancel out. And then since we have a square here, canceling with 1 of the 3 times 10 to the power 2002 squared log 10, we are left with the constant, as you know, in times, in bracket, 1 over 6 log 1 over 6, 2002 squared log 10, plus 1 over 3, 2022 squared log 10. So this is a third of this minus a sixth of this, and we are left with the constant times 1 over 6, the 2022 squared log 10. Okay, so proceeding forward, as we can see, our initial integral here is greater than the integration of the value under the gradient, obviously taking into consideration the constant here. And so if we now take in the log 10 of our initial integral, which is greater than also the log 10 of the constant times the area under the gradient, which means that the right-hand side is log 10, since this is a product of 10 to the power negative 2002 cube minus the log 10 of the denominator. So eventually log 10 of this, so we have to multiply this out. We have, this is log 10 of 10 to the power negative 2022 cube minus log 10 of the product of 6 and 2002 squared is 24,530,904, and then minus log 10 of natural logarithm of 10. So again, we can express this in form of log of base 10. And so this is same as log 10 of 10 over log 10 of E, taking it away from the natural logarithm. Okay, and this here is the same as 2.4530904 times 10 to the power 7. And so what happens is that that is log 10 of 10 to the power negative 2002 cubed minus log 10 of 2.4530904 times 10 to the power 7 minus log 10 of 1 over log 10 of E. And so that is log 10 to the power of 10 to the power negative 2002 cubed minus log 10 of 10 to the power 7 minus log 10 of 2.4530904 plus, since this is now reciprocal here, log 10 of log 10e. So as you can see, this becomes, this is greater than 2022 cubed minus, this is 7 minus log 10 of 2.45304 is the value less than 1, and this is also a much smaller, it's a negative small value. And so we have the expression as well of the log 10 of the integral of interest is greater than negative 2022 cubed minus 7 minus a value much less than 1, not much less, but less than 1. So essentially now, the log 10 of our integral is a sandwich between negative 2022 cubed minus log 10 of 10 to the power 7, which this is also 7, minus a value less than 1, and again, negative 2022 cubed minus 7 minus a value less than 1. So we have our lower and upper limits. And since we know that when x is between k plus 1 and k, or when k plus 1 is greater than x, which is less or equal than k, which is greater or equal to k, then the floor function of x is equals to the lower integer value, which is k. So here, as you can see, since essentially the log 10 of this integral lies between negative 2022 cubed minus 8 and minus 7 and negative 2022 cubed minus 8, the lower integer is therefore, since we're in the negative side, so the lower value is the higher negative absolute value. So it means that the log 10 of our integral is equal to negative 2022 cubed minus 8. And this is our final answer. It's a very, very, very interesting problem. And I hope you really enjoyed following through. If you do have any question, please don't hesitate. Leave us a comment, or if there's any point of correction that you have in mind, please also leave us a comment. But it was an absolute pleasure sharing with you this solution. Thank you so much. Until next time, happy 2024. And also, I hope you had a wonderful festival or festive season of Christmas. Thank you. Bye-bye.